Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Retail Shenanigans. Thank you guys so much for sticking in the long haul. I had a very, very hectic and busy weekend this past weekend. I had unfortunately, had to let somebody go, and I had to work thirds all weekend. And then yesterday, I was with my boss. We were going to store, helping the different franchisees in the area get their new signage kits and everything put up because there's a lot of franchisees in the company that are severely understaffed right now, whether it be that their people don't want to work as because like they're afraid a little bit of the virus, or they just they'd rather take the incentive to stay home and not try to risk anything, which I totally get, both ends of the spectrum. I just know that they were really in desperate need of some help, so it was a very long day yesterday. So I do appreciate your guys' patience and allowing me the time to recuperate and get back up here and start making content for you all again. So for all the longtime listeners, people who've been here from the beginning, today I brought back on Lauren Campbell, longtime fan of the show, longtime friend, one of the first people I actually had on here, and really just one of the great critics of the show that I really put a lot of respect into. Anytime I want to make sure I'm doing something good or try to improve on something, I always look for constructive criticism or anything like that, and Lauren's always been an awesome friend, and not afraid to be blunt about things. So Lauren, I appreciate it, and welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
So my number one question is, since I know, not number one, my first question for you, I guess, would be, not really. I really don't want to try to make it like sound scripted or anything, but like my main like starter question here for you is, how, since you are in PA,
Mhm.
how are you guys dealing with everything? I know that there's a lot of people that I see on Facebook and social media that are freaking out about the governor and just the way things are being handled up there. So, as a um, Pennsylvanian who is dealing with all this, what's kind of your take on what's going on up there?
Um, I mean, to me, I wasn't all that, scared about any of it, mostly because I think I worked in retail so long that germs mean absolutely nothing to me anymore.
Right.
Um, some of the things I've been touched with have just made this not seem scary at all.
Oh my god.
But I mean, for a lot of people, it is scary because a lot of people haven't, worked in a space where they've had to be surrounded by that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I totally understand why some people, are like, oh, we need to wear masks, we need to be social distancing, we need to make sure we don't go out as much as possible. But I mean, kind of the downside of that is that you're being locked up in your house and you're not really getting that chance to, I guess, build up your immune system. So I'm a little afraid about everyone, coming back into the public and everyone getting really sick and from other things.
Oh, most definitely. Because I think, to kind of interject there a little bit, everybody is worried about COVID-19 and, catching it, and we're social distancing and we're isolating ourselves. But people also need to remember that the flu, the common cold, all these other diseases, or not diseases, but these like viruses are still out there that you can still catch. So the fact that, like, one thing I've always been kind of, I don't want to say adamant about, but I know ever since I've started my like my regimen where I've changed my diet and things of that nature. I'm making sure that somehow I'm getting like vitamin D and vitamin C, because you need your vitamins, and that stuff's really important for your immune system. And I feel locking yourself inside and not being out in the sun can be really detrimental.
Totally. I mean, I am a quote unquote essential worker.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
preaching
in
to the
retail
choir.
anymore. I'm, I'm not in retail anymore, but things still need done. So I was home the first week I worked from home,
Okay.
and then they brought me back in, and I'm not even doing my normal job. I'm literally printing everybody's documents out who's working from home, signing
Interesting.
them, and sending them out to customers. So I am incredibly bored.
So essentially, and I don't take this the wrong way because I don't mean it to sound that way. You are essentially a glorified secretary right now.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But I mean, like it's important because I do work in logistics. We're what's called a freight forwarder, so we do like all the paperwork from like specifically we work with chemical companies. So
Okay.
we're like the middleman between the chemical companies and like the shipping containers, the carriers and stuff like that. So like I get it, it's important, all that paperwork needs to go to customers, but just like in retail, the customers are awful to deal with during this time. They're like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh, we need this stuff right away." I'm like, "Dude, your country's not even open. You're not getting your stuff."
Right. Why are you freaking out about
So,
a memo or a packet when you don't even A, have the merchandise, or B, are using it?
yeah. So, I mean, I'm kind of lucky that I still have a job and everything. Do
Oh
I
yeah.
wish I was working from home? Of course. Like, who wouldn't want to be? But also, like, it gets me out of the house because my brother is working from home, but he doesn't have enough to do. So he's literally going insane.
Oh yeah. Well, I know, like not to put too much personal into there, but I know for about a
Mhm.
month and a half, while everything was going on, at least down here in Texas, Allison,
Mhm.
she didn't have her job. They cut everybody to the bare bones that wasn't essential, and they were only having certain managers work. And for almost 2 months, we were following the guidelines, doing everything we were supposed to be doing, and I was the only one
Mhm.
leaving the house. I'd go to work, I'd come home, take my clothes off, throw them in the dryer, wash my hands. If I had to go to the grocery store, I would make sure, mask everything, wipe down everything,
Mhm.
the whole 9 yards. And then
Yeah,
recently, which is I'm actually really excited to be living where I'm living, Texas is opening up, and we're one of the states where we're opening up at a pretty progressive rate. And it's so fun to be able to do things like not this past weekend, but the previous weekend. For the first time in almost 2 months, I was able to go to a mall and walk around.
that was probably a amazing feeling.
I shit you not, Lauren. Even though like yeah, we went and we spent some money here and there for the shops that were open, I literally
Mhm.
felt like I was alive again for the first time.
That's yeah. I've been going to the grocery store and to Target, and you know me and Target.
Yeah.
It, but for me, like it's really hard because I spend a lot of money clothes shopping, and I haven't bought any clothes.
Yeah.
So, and I really love shopping. Like I love going into stores and just touching everything.
Yeah. That was
So,
one thing I was going to ask you. I was like, is it driving you crazy that you can't go in and touch everything? Um,
yeah,
there was a
pretty much.
there was a meme I saw where it's like this and again I'm not saying like in a derogatory way, but this
Mhm.
stay-at-home mom was like, man, I can't wait till this is all over so I can go to Target and touch everything I don't need.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So would you say then that you're kind of on the side of the people that are being critical of Tom Wolfe, or do you think you're more on the side that's more in the supporting area, or are you kind of in the middle?
I believe that he is doing what he thinks is probably best in the long run because let's face it, he's going to get criticized for not opening, for reopening too quickly. I mean, there's really no way he's not going to get totally shit on for all of this.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you think about it, we're not the only state that's closed off. We're not
Oh,
the only country that's closed off.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're single-handedly in thing. So I think he's trying to do what he thinks is best for everyone. Is he taking a while to open things up that he probably should open up earlier? Yeah. But I think that's more we're all just really bored more than anything.
I.
But I do get it. I do get it. There are people who, have autoimmune diseases,
Hmm.
elderly, people who don't have great health who could really be affected by this. Personally, no one in my family has been, sick. No one I know has been sick, so that's been really good. But
Right.
there are people who have been, and that's horrible for them. It really is losing a family member to what is only. like a glorified flu.
No, most definitely. And I totally understand what you're saying as well. But on the flip side of that, I also see what a lot of people that are like freaking out about. Like, I don't believe that there is as much of a, oh, I just want to go get a fucking haircut. I understand that there
Mhm,
might have been one or two dumbasses with signs up that said that. But I
mhm,
also believe there is a strong number of people out there that are worried because if they've got their small business that they've invested in their entire lives and now they're being told if you open you're going to jail, like
mhm,
what the fuck are you going to do? Like if you have kids, like in my situation, if I was told if I go to work I will get arrested, I've got my wife,
mhm.
I've got Allison and my two kids to take care of. You know, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean there are small businesses that have been affected. Like my cousin, for example, he is one of two owners of a tattoo shop.
Mhm.
So he's been home for 2 months without any income. It's been
Oof.
very difficult. Luckily, his wife is still working, so they
Yeah.
do have that income coming in. But I mean, when you own your own business, they didn't make like that unemployment specifically for like business owners
Right.
until like a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's glad. I'm glad that
So,
they got it, but there are so many stories of people who didn't. Like,
mhm,
I'm not trying to like him and haw and be like, "Oh, poor us." But I mean, when Allison lost
mhm.
her job, she didn't get it. They didn't give her anything.
Yeah, I know there's been a bunch of people who have been having issues with unemployment, but you also have to keep in mind like there are several thousand people
Oh no,
unemployed right now.
I fully
So,
understand. I also think it's funny that one of the guys I had on the show a couple weeks ago, Tom, he was
mhm,
saying, and it's not that he was like taking advantage of it or anything, but he got let go as of right now because of the virus and his job shutting down.
mhm,
And
mhm.
with the boost in the unemployment payouts, he said he's making more on unemployment than he did when he was working.
Yeah, my brother's one friend, actually it's Wayne,
Hmm.
uh he said that he was making extra money and I'm just like,
Wayne,
what?
you talking about Wayne Wood?
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Oh, I love him. He's such a cool person.
he is. He's kind of like a brother because I've known him forever.
Yeah, he he's a very nice person. But getting back to what we were talking about, yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous that you know you're getting more on unemployment than you were when you were working. I mean, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to help people have money so that they can pay their bills and whatnot. But it's
Mhm,
hilarious that, and I'm not saying that everybody did this, but I know down here at least we got when those stimulus checks went out, we had. Um, like they had everybody was getting them deposited in their banks and everything. And I went
mhm,
to a Walmart the day like when mine went in, and
mhm,
I went to and it was just like I had to grab a gallon of milk and some band-aids and I wanted to get some more dish soap or whatever. So it was just I
mhm,
was in and out. Well, it wasn't in and out because I go in and as I'm walking in, there are families, 3, 4, and 5 carts in a family, walking out with every single one of them had a TV, every single or they had a TV and an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I saw
Still,
that here too.
I don't know if it's. I mean, granted, I just heard you say that, but I don't know if it's still like that in Pennsylvania. Like right now, and again, it's not something I'm bitch moaning and complaining about. Like I know there's places I can go, but like I want to
Mhm,
get a new Xbox controller because the buttons on one of my buttons are starting to go out, and
mhm.
Walmart, Target, none of them have controllers in stock. Still.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, today we went to go do our grocery shopping and we go in and there are people bringing their merchandise back because down here in Texas, now that it's reopening,
Uh-huh.
I think it's quite bullshit, to be honest with you. I know at least I got a letter from the people we rent through,
Mhm.
and because everything that was shut down and locked down, there was like a hold on people where they couldn't get like eviction notices and everything for not paying their rent.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I know my rental company and a couple rental companies around us sent out letters to every tenant saying that the lifts on um, what's the word I just said, evictions,
Mhm.
that the lift is coming soon, so you need to pay your rent or you will be evicted.
Oh, well,
Is
I
yeah, isn't
think
that lovely?
um I think Pennsylvania's is through June 30th or something like that. So I don't know. I live at home, so
Well, fuck you, Lauren.
I'm sorry I'm too poor to move out.
Those of us who are adults.
I'm an adult. I
I'm an
used my
adult.
I used my stimulus check to pay off part of my credit card.
Dude, that was
So,
beautiful. That's a great thing to do. We
yeah.
sat on ours. I mean, we like I said, I make decent money where even with her not working, we were okay. Um,
Mhm.
but we're sitting on ours. We for excuse me, like a rainy day or something, and we're planning on
Mhm.
moving next year. So hopefully we can use that to either buy our house or at least get a you know put a down payment on something because this driving back and forth an hour to where I work, shit's got to go.
Yeah. Well, I had planned on because right now we don't have to pay our federal student loans if, you know,
Right.
we don't have to. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll just use the money I use for my student loans every month and put that towards my credit card, and then bam, I'll have it paid off,
Yeah.
by the end of the year. Well, I found out that if you don't pay it, like you pay towards it at all, your credit score drops.
Oh God.
Yes, and I've worked very hard to get my credit score back up to
A respectable number.
okay. Yeah.
No, no, no. I trust me. Trust me. Like I just now am starting to get mine back up to where I need it to be. Granted, I only owe like $200 or $300 left on my school loans, which hallelujah, that's fantastic.
That's
But
nice.
I mean, mine was so fucked up from my ex-wife just like making accounts under my name and charging shit and not telling me.
Yeah.
So that was like I'm slowly like getting my shit fixed to where it needs to be. Because like I said, I'm trying to buy a house. But anyway, the whole point of me saying about going to Walmart today is that there's people taking their TVs and shits back trying to get money for it.
Yeah. A lot of stores have in place like if you buy stuff right now,
Mm-hmm.
you can't return it. I mean, they do have like exceptions, like, oh, I bought these pants yesterday
Right.
and they ripped already.
Right.
Like that makes sense. But like, I know the Target near my house, like, you're not allowed to return any paper products.
Right.
You're not allowed to return like soap and hand sanitizer. They have like this huge list of things you could bring back, and I think a lot of electronics were on there too.
Well, I hope so because that's. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I know people are allowed to spend their money any way they want, and I would never tell somebody not to spend their money, especially to help stimulate the economy. But you're gonna sit there and just be a jackass and be like, "Oh, well, I just got a whole bunch of money. We're gonna go, buy a new big screen TV and a new gaming system. Oh, my rent's due now, and I'm gonna get evicted. Let me take it back."
Yeah, that's
It's very frustrating.
like I get wanting to have nice things, but also you need to take responsibility for your own life.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's why we like it. Like how to put this the easiest way to explain it. Like throughout the year, like Allison and I, we only clothes shop for ourselves maybe once,
Hmm.
maybe twice a year, if that. And what
Hmm.
we do is we wait until we get our taxes. We put a chunk of it away, like a huge chunk.
Hmm.
If there's
Yeah.
any outstanding debt or anything, which again, it's just been like school loans, getting our credit caught back up so we can buy a house. But then we'll
Yeah.
go and we'll take $200-300 a piece, and we'll go get ourselves clothes for the year, and that's how we try to make it work. Like we don't go hog wild. Now, granted, every once in a while we find something we're like, oh, I really like this shirt, I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but it's all about like self measurement and how you take, you know what I mean, how you take account of the things you do. Because I mean, it's easy to just go blow all your money and be broke. But then when something comes up, like I said, with us, we live thousands and thousands of miles away from our families, so it's just
Yeah.
us. So we got to be
Yeah. It makes it a
responsible.
lot harder.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's rough. There's days like today when we went grocery shopping. The boys were
Hmm.
just they were terrible today. I don't know if they were just both tired or they were fussy because they didn't really eat their dinner. So we were trying to give them snacks and whatnot. But I mean, they were
Hmm.
just it was terrible today. Like I felt like everybody in the store was looking at us because they were just like freaking out and yelling and crying baby crocodile tears. And I was thinking to myself, man, this would have been a great day to just drop them off at the grandparents and just go grocery shopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely, it's like I said, it's it to each their own. But I just feel like hopefully people kind of take stock and like let's try to come out of this on top instead of behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is different for everybody, and it does suck. It really does, but it could be so much worse.
Oh, most
It
definitely.
really could. I mean, a lot of people are lucky that they have their families,
Mm-hmm.
someone in their family has a job. You're still getting money somehow.
Right.
It may not be the amount of money you want, but I mean, we're all dealing with it, and I think people need to be a little more res, oh my God, respectful English. There we go. Respectful towards others on this. Like, if they want to stay home some more, then don't judge them for that. Let them do what they need to do to feel safe.
Right. Most definitely. It's like if you want to stay home, cool. Stay home, self isolate, do what you feel is going to make you and your family safe. But then don't turn around and yell at somebody because they're going out trying to work and provide for their family.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And like a lot of people have been whining about getting our rights taken away, and I'm like, your rights haven't been taken away that much. It could be so much worse. So much.
I agree, but it's a slippery slope. I will say that.
It
It
is.
can be very much a slippery slope. I mean, you give up liberties for freedom, you're not going to have either. That was Ben Franklin. You give up your liberties to feel safe. You deserve neither, and you will get neither. So that's just something I've always believed in, and I I get what you're saying. I totally do. I don't want you to think I'm like being trying to be an
No,
asshole here. I'm being devil's advocate at this point.
no, I get it. I mean, there needs to be a healthy balance between both. And I mean, this is the first time we've ever had to do something like this. So maybe next time, if there is a next time,
Next time. Oh shit.
next time, if there is one, we'll have learned from this experience of what to do and what not to do.
Right.
So,
Goddamn, Lauren.
you
Let us
know,
get through 2020 first, okay?
this year was supposed to be my year. I joined a gym. I completely changed my diet. I was losing weight, and they're like, "Surprise, gyms are closed." I'm like,
Right.
"Well, guess I'm eating ice cream again."
I love and hate just the amount, like, just meme culture is so fantastic. It's got the ability to be super terrible or super awesome, and it's both depending on how you look at it. And
Mhm.
I love the memes where it's Kronk writing down for bingo, but it's, oh, there's another one for apocalypse bingo.
Like, I keep reading all of the things that happened this year. I'm like, no, that was
Yeah.
not just this year. It's May.
Or that the fucking Pentagon released about
Yes,
UFOs. How the fuck
yes.
did that go under the radar? How is that something that our government not only corroborated, but was like, here's pictures, here's proof, here's dates. Oh, but 2020's fucked up enough. We're not even gonna fucking pay attention to it. By the way, UFOs are real.
I know.
How?
I was like, yes, there they are. I know they're real.
I mean, I've always been a skeptic. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not one of those like the ancient aliens guys and things of that nature. Um,
Aliens.
yeah, with the aliens. I love that meme too. But I've always been the kind of person where I had the thought in my head where it was more um, that if there was intelligent life out there, that I always felt that they'd be smart enough to stay away from us, because humanity
Oh,
as a whole is
definitely.
very destructive. Like, yes, we can
Definitely.
be creative and we can make some beautiful things. I mean, like, Leonardo, or not DiCaprio, Jesus, Da Vinci.
Oh,
Da Vinci, great artist, great inventor,
mhm,
things of that, painted the Mona Lisa, fantastic works of art. But then also in
mhm.
his workbooks, what was he making? War machines, flying machines, things to kill people. Like,
Yes.
humanity is, they're always possible, like, have the possibility of great kindness or great, atrocities. So,
Yeah, I mean, so my mom and I have been watching Outlander. We're finally on the last season. And like one of the things this season, besides being ridiculously sad for no reason,
Okay.
Um, they keep talking about like because this season takes place in specifically they're in North Carolina, the years leading up to the American Revolution.
Yeah, Allison's really huge into this show. I just can't get into it.
It's a girl show.
No,
It
definitely.
is. So, but one of the things they talk about a lot is that like yeah, we come together for all these really great things, but there's always going to be another war.
Right.
And I think that's such a sad thought because, like, I remember reading an article about how, like, my generation has been almost entirely at war for our entire lives,
Yeah.
which is scary to think about.
I mean, if you think about, like, not to really be depressed about it, but so post 9/11, we've been at war.
Hmm.
Even though there might have been armistice or a troop pulls out or whatever, there was the war
Hmm.
on terror. Even before that, in the mid to late 90s, there was Desert Storm. If I'm getting the
Hmm.
dates right, if I'm not. I do apologize to anybody listening. But I mean, even then we had like Desert Storm and all that shit. And then we're like, okay, well we pulled out, we got this good, and we're done. Nope, psych. 10 years later,
JK, LOL.
not dead. And then it was like we went in for that, and then it was we went for Bin Laden, and then it was then Saddam, and then now it's ISIS. Like there's always something. And now, and I hate to be the person to be the whole conspiracy nut, because even though I don't think it's going to happen, but now there's people that are thinking that China might want to go to war with us because of all the shit that's happening, and because they're the ones. And again, I'm not. There's physical proof that this has come from China. So it's not trying to be like anything racist about it, because that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, like there's facts and there's evidence that this has come from China, and now like because of this and other things that are going on, is that China might want to go to war with us. And I personally don't think that's going to happen, because the only way I think they would go to war with us if we stop trading, because we're their number one trade partner. So
Hmm.
I think that'd be ridiculous. But I mean, that's something else now people are going to be worried about. Like, oh, are we going to go to war with China next? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I I don't think out of all the countries to be afraid that's going to start a war with us, China is not one of them that
no.
I'm not concerned about. Russia, definitely.
I
Anything
honestly don't
between
know enough to comment on it. I know I do hear a lot about Russia and a lot of the other things than the going ons over there. But to be anything, I mean, more than Russia, North Korea. I mean, fuck, did we ever find out if Kim Jong Un's alive? I know there was a worry there that
yes,
he was. So
yeah,
he is alive?
he is.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. I
he
mean,
showed up somewhere. My brother was talking at me one day, and and one of the things that slipped through was about him.
okay. Because I know
Mm.
for a while there, they were like, "Oh, what if he's dead? Then maybe his sister or somebody would take over." And his sister looked like a mean bitch. Like I thought you had, like not. I'm not saying mean, Lauren. I thought you had resting bitch face, and you were like mean sometimes looking. No, this bitch was just like 24/7, like eating your soul.
Oh my God, my RBF is quite bad. I've literally had people tell me they've been scared to talk to me because I look mean. I'm like, no, that's just my face. I can be. Don't
Oh yeah.
trust me, I can be, but no, I'm usually not.
No, you're a very nice person. You have a very strong persona of somebody who's mean and who is comes off rude. But no, you're an awesome person. I mean, I yeah, I don't see that at all.
I'm very blunt and I'm extremely opinionated, and I think that comes across kind of rough sometimes,
No, I
but
I mean, yes, I understand what you're saying about it coming off rough at times, definitely. But I feel that's anybody, like anybody who's very opinionated and very much stands behind their beliefs, which there's nothing against.
mhm,
Like I love the fact that you and I are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and that we can have civil conversations about it. And
mhm,
that's the whole point. That's if we can do that day in and day out, wash your hands, go to bed, everything's good. It's
yeah.
the extreme, like where it's like, oh, I'm unfriending you because you don't believe what I believe, or things of that nature. And that's what hurts us, is division is never good. Like, yes,
I
we might
mean,
not agree,
yeah.
but I don't agree in division.
I definitely believe there needs to be more civil conversation between. between everyone.
Hmm.
I mean, as you know, I worked at Gander. I am in no way gun toting redneck. But, and I have some pretty strong opinions that lean way towards the left.
Hmm.
And then a lot of the guys in there, were right winged and conservative or,
Right.
more towards the middle. But, I mean, most of them I was able to have actual discussions with. And
Oh yeah.
sure, every so often we would call each other some stupid name, but that was just joking. That
Oh,
wasn't,
you got to.
yeah, like, oh, you fucking dumbass. But, I mean, I enjoy debating as long as, there are actual points brought up. I
Right.
think sometimes people think they're debating, but they just bring up the same bullshit
Yeah.
over and over again.
Like, okay, you talked about that, but let's move on to a different subject, or let's bring up another topic,
Exactly.
or and that and it's definitely clear on both sides. Like,
Oh, definitely.
and it's absolutely mind-boggling. Where, like, recently a friend of mine had posted up, she had posted a picture of herself. She had just got her hair re-dyed, and
Hmm.
she had got dreadlocks put in her hair.
Okay.
Now, this person is very, very Caucasian, like no ethnicity in her at all. At
No.
least something that you could
Oh,
tell.
no.
Um,
Hmm.
but as a person of color, I saw nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. But of course, she posted it, and somebody who was equally as Caucasian as her said something about it, and I was like, "Are you effing kidding me?"
I mean, I get where they're coming from. I personally don't like them on white people because Caucasian hair is not meant to do that. Okay, so Afro hair is a lot. Stop it. They're people of African descent. Their hair is a lot more coarse, and it takes a lot easier to like the oils and everything to help
Okay,
keep your hair in dreadlocks a lot better. And I mean, they're able to not have to wash their hair as often,
right.
which is a known fact. Whereas Caucasian hair, the way that the whole hair is set up is completely different. So, like, that's why Caucasians with dreadlocks, their hair is disgusting.
Well, I'm telling you, they look nice. Like, it didn't look like, um, not for lack of a better word, and you know what I mean when I say this. It didn't look like a dirty white person with dreadlocks.
Well, she just got them done.
Okay, whatever. But what I'm saying is, I didn't. There was nothing wrong with that, and I don't believe that that's cultural appropriation. And if I'm wrong, then let me be wrong. But I don't believe that whatsoever. I think it looked great, and it would be. It's like, I don't know. I know it's a touchy subject, but as somebody who is very mixed ethnically, I
Hmm.
could tell you I have no fucking problem with it whatsoever.
So for me, I don't really call cultural appropriation on things simply because it's not my culture.
Right.
I don't know anything about it. I can't say that I am part of that culture. Therefore, I can't say whether or not it's appropriate for that culture or not, or whether someone's taking that culture and just, going off the deep end.
Right.
So I feel for someone to call it cultural appropriation, they need to be actually part of that culture to do that.
That's fair. I can be okay with that. But again, like I said, it was a clearly very Caucasian person
Hmm.
calling her out on it, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, why? Like, out of everything right now going on to be worried and upset about, that's what you're calling out.
Yeah, I think people are just bored.
Yeah, and that's never good. Um,
Yeah, no.
that's totally and again, I just think that's asinine. I mean, I don't even know where to like begin like wrapping my head around that. Like, I again, maybe it's just because I am mixed and I have a whole bunch of ethnicities in me. Like, on my dad's side, it's, granted they're all still Caucasian, but my dad is white, German,
Hmm.
and Irish. But then on my mom's
Hmm.
side, it's black, Cherokee Indian, and I've got Asian and Hispanic on my mom's side. Now, I am not Hispanic or Asian, but I do have
Hmm.
them in my family. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like I just grew up in a melting pot where I saw everything. I mean, my aunt Kanya, who is Asian, my cousin
Hmm.
Kalisha, she spent all her summers with us, and my mom would do my aunt Kanya's hair and vice versa, and my mom would
Hmm.
do like I guess you would call it quote unquote Asian hairdos on my mom, and my mom would do quote unquote black hairdos to my Asian aunt. Like what I don't understand. If it brings people together, why is it a bad thing? Like perfect example, like rap. Rap is that's like a like you could consider it cultural appropriation because that's something namely that started with African Americans, and they created it and they ran with
Hmm.
it. And then now look, and like there's white rappers. I mean, there's Logic, there's Eminem, there's Lil Dicky, a whole bunch of white people. I mean, MGK. And why is that not a cultural appropriation? Or the extreme opposite of that, rock and roll. Rock and roll was rockabilly, and it was started by black people. Little Richard, pioneer of rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, Logic's half black. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah.
he pretty Caucasian.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'll have to look that up. But you get what I'm saying. Why is one thing considered cultural appropriation and the other isn't?
I think we live in a world where there are so many different cultures that have, for lack of a better term, cross-contaminated each other.
Wow. Jesus.
Hashtag 2020 pandemic.
Right? Wow, Lauren. Woo!
But I mean, if you think about it, like, let's take like the Romans
Oh
or
yeah.
like Genghis Khan or like Attila the Hun, like they expanded their empires so much, and you know there were so many different cultures wrapped up in there that I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's hard not to want to experience other cultures.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm 50 Shades of White, so and I'm mainly Scottish. You know what my culture is? Okay, we just get drunk and try to start shit with the English. That's it.
that
That's literally all we do.
That's funny because Allison and her dad are very Irish. Her dad
Hmm.
more so than her. But it's
Hmm.
funny because you can definitely tell she's got a lot of Irish in her. And the other day, I don't even know where I found it, but I found this song on Spotify, and I just for some reason I got hooked on it. And it's called "Another Irish Drinking Song" by Da Vinci's Notebook. I don't even know how she can't even tell you. Never heard this song before, but she knew the song word for word.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my god, it's I will send you a link to it. It's definitely, if it's a song, if you're out drinking and having fun, it's definitely a fantastic song. But it's just, again, I'm all for, let people just be themselves. If you see something you want to try or that you want to do, go for it. Why put a stop on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, so as you know, I lived in Hawaii,
Right.
and a lot of kids in Hawaii are mixed with
Right.
varying degrees of cultures.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always found, at least to be polite to those that I've been invited into their,
Mhm.
cultural celebrations, is to ask permission to be able to do the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, I don't want to accidentally offend someone, or, and I mean, the people that you're with, they feel a lot better
Right.
if you want to be part of it.
Well, I think that's, yes, that's a leg of it, but I think that's more along the lines going to like respect. Like you're going to a luau or whatever. I don't really know a lot about Hawaiian culture, but like say you're going to a celebration or something, and again, you just want to be respectful and ask permission before you do something, because you do want to be respectful, but you want to celebrate them with their culture, in their culture.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I
I
think it's
mean, Hawaiians now don't really do luau. It's kind of a tourist trap thing.
gotcha. Shows you what
But
I
I
know.
mean, Yeah, so, but I mean, they still have like, like outdoor parties and everything,
Right.
and have a lot of more of the traditional foods at them, but also like because so many people are mixed down there, they have foods from different parts of their lives coming into this place too.
Oh my God, yeah. My cousin Lou, who's actually he's on my mom's side, but he's
Hmm.
Spanish. So he married my aunt who is white, and so there it's
Hmm.
like he's like super Hispanic like looking, but then his kids,
Hmm.
my cousins, they're a mix. They go from like kind of light skin all the way to super like Hispanic looking dark skin a little bit.
Hmm.
So it's very funny that he actually that's the way he looks. But he, and actually what you said, it's funny because he actually took a trip to Hawaii one time, and he
Hmm.
landed and he was walking about around, and one of the native Hawaiians, I guess because he looked very similar, they were like started
Hmm.
talking to him in Hawaiian, thinking that he was one of them, and I was like, that's crazy.
Well, it was so weird. It was such a cultural shock for me because, like, here, like, I am very clearly white,
Oh yeah.
and or a lot of times I get mistaken for Puerto Rican.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's because I have brown eyes
Hmm.
and dark hair. It's happened. So,
Interesting.
yeah, not so much. It was when I was working at Old Navy mostly.
Okay.
Um, but so like when I lived in Hawaii, because so many kids are mixed down there, they're like, "Oh, what are you majoring in?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm majoring in Korean." And to me, like here, they're like, "Oh, you're one of those girls." I'm like, "Yes, I am." But down there, they're like, "Oh, are you part Korean?" I'm like, "What? No,
Definitely
you
not.
got." But it's so weird because I had a friend who was half Japanese who had pale skin,
Hmm.
green eyes, and red hair, and didn't look Asian at all.
Wow, that's crazy. That's like what was that? Oh, that commercial, was it Starburst? Starburst or Skittles or somebody where they had a commercial about being Scotch Korean or whatever, and I was like, what? Red
So
hair
my
and green
cousin,
eyes. That's
yeah,
interesting. And they
well,
were Japanese.
they're half Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, but like even in my own family, so like my uncle who married my aunt, he's half Filipino, so his kids are quarter.
Hmm.
So my one cousin, her daughter, you could not tell she had any part of Filipino in her at all.
Right.
She is pale, she has platinum blonde hair and blue eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird how genetics work.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, if you look at my boys, I'm clearly mixed with something. Like I get Hispanic a lot.
Mhm.
And when my hair grows out, I get I've actually, now that I live down here in Texas and I work at 7-Eleven, I believe it or not, I've been mistaken for and spoken to in Arabic or Hindi.
Okay.
So I guess just because I look the part, maybe when my hair gets super curly, I don't know. But shit, what was I just getting ready to say? Oh, my kids. Yeah, yeah. So Percy, I mean Percy, when he came out, he's got brown eyes, brown hair, and he looks just like me. But Lincoln,
Hmm.
my second kid, blonde hair, blue eyes, looks like his mom, like
Hmm.
spitting image of like Aryan race. And where did that come from? I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. Allison does. I mean, Allison has like dirty blonde hair, but his is
Hmm.
like straight up blonde hair, bright blue eyes. What the fuck?
You have a Nazi baby. Congratulations.
Rude.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's, I don't know. But I just definitely think that the main overarching point of what I was trying to say is that there's so much else going on in the world that right now I think we need to focus more on coming together than fighting. And I
Oh,
really think
definitely.
you can. I really think you would agree with me on that.
Oh, most definitely. I think the past 10 years, especially because of politics, have
Hmm.
really divided this country. Especially the last election really severely divided this country.
Oh, I can agree with that.
And I think people are focusing too much on the politics and not enough on what really matters, which is each other.
Yeah, I mean it. At the end of the day, like, and I don't even know how to say this without sounding like an ass, but like, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, it comes down to, can I, and not even to try to look at it in like a selfish way, but like, can I take care of my family? Can I provide? Okay, move on. What's the next step? Is everything okay? Like, is my neighbor, is it something I can help them with? Like, oh, they ran out of toilet paper. Can I lend them a roll until they can get to something or whatever? Um, going back to work, like, as at work, this person's not feeling well, or they're just kind of having a bad day. Okay, can I send them away, like send them home or whatever, have somebody else cover so
Mhm.
they can, have a moment to be, human beings and, be vulnerable for a minute. I definitely think there needs to be a definite coming together.
They're done. Oh my
Mm,
God.
articulate
Uh,
tonight, aren't we?
um, Work has me pretty much drained. I took like a mental health day last Friday,
Hmm.
so
I
it's
wish.
yeah.
I wish. I have, like I said in the beginning of the video, so I had to let my third shifter go, and it had nothing to do with her calling off because of like COVID or anything. She just was
Mhm.
just not wanting to come to work and giving BS excuses. Like, she called me and half an hour before she was supposed to be at work. Mind you, I live an hour away. Okay, so I
Mhm.
get a call at 9:30. She said I get a call from some random number that I don't know, and she's like,
Mhm.
"My phone's dead. My car is dead on the side of the road. I won't be able to make it to work. I don't know. I'll call you later." So
Mhm.
as soon as she hangs up, my immediate thought is, if her phone's dead and her car's dead, she's on the side of the road. How did
Mhm.
she get my phone number?
Mm. It's a good
You
question.
don't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was just things like that. Don't get me wrong; she was a great worker when she was there. It just got to the point where even my boss was like, "Okay, you got to let her go," because it was just call off after call off. And then because other stores are short staffed, it was hard for me to find somebody else. So I said, "Fuck it,"
Yeah.
and I worked all last week, and then so I worked my morning shift, and then Saturday and Sunday I worked third shift. And let me tell you, man, that was exhausting.
Oh, I bet. I remember Clopens.
Yeah. So switching from opening and then coming back to do a third shift, 2 days in a row, and then Tuesday. So yesterday was supposed to be my day off, but my boss
Mhm.
calls me and is like, "By the way, uh, the franchisees are begging for help because they need they're short staffed, and the new sale starts Wednesday. So we're gonna go to a bunch of stores on Tuesday and put up all their new POP, which is their signage, their advertisements, all this other shit."
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, that's great. So no day off again this week. So from, I would say, about 6 a.m. yesterday until about 8:30 last night, we were just going from store to store.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, whew, it was a long day, but it was worth it.
I bet.
I mean, it's worth it. I got a lot of brownie points in with the boss. And funny story, might make you laugh here. I know you're not huge into football, but I don't know if you saw on Facebook yesterday,
I
but
did.
so for everybody listening, there is a 7-Eleven that is frequented by a certain Cowboys player. And me being from Pennsylvania, I am not a Cowboys fan whatsoever. I couldn't tell you anybody who played for the Cowboys. So I see my boss standing talking to somebody, grinning ear to ear, just having a good time. Had a question for my boss, walked up, talked to him for a minute, and this guy who he was there with, I said, I apologize for interrupting. We had a little chit chat, and he's like, "So are you a Cowboys fan?" Working for 7-Eleven, and I said, "No, I'm not from here." I said, "I'm from Pennsylvania. I only like good football teams." The dude started laughing. I said, "Yeah." I said, I'm a Ravens fan." He's like, "Oh, get that shit out of here." Blah 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 blah. And like we're just talking smack. And then my boss goes, "Ray, do you not know who this is?" And I said, and I looked at him and I was like, "No." I said, "Who are you, if you don't mind me asking?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm Dak Prescott. I'm the quarterback for the Cowboys." And I was like, "Oh."
Oh. Oof, that's a big
Yeah,
yikes.
that's big oof. granted, he was a great sport about it. I wasn't being rude or anything. I told my mom about it, and she's a Redskins fan, and she was like, "Oh, well, even though you're not a fan, you should have got a picture and tried to get his autograph." But I was like, "Mom, first off, I was on the clock. I said I was working.
Yeah.
I said, and he goes into that store because he knows he can go in, get his stuff, and not be majorly harassed. I didn't want to mess that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess that up. So, in a different circumstance, yeah, I probably would have got a picture with him or whatever. Even though I'm not a Cowboys fan, that's still a good memory. But I'm also going to have the memory of me talking shit to him about his team without knowing who he was.
That's pretty awesome,
Yeah,
though.
but as soon as he told me who he was, though, you know those stones that are going around in those memes where it's like the oof, and it's the stones that are going like they're squinching their face and they're puckering out their lips, and it's like oof. I was like, that's what
Yeah.
I in my head. I was like, ooh.
Oh man.
But totally. I think that would be a that's a great way to end the show here, Lauren. I know we originally said we were going to try to do one on just listing like pet peeves of retail, but I really feel we got on a good kick and we started talking about, now that things are reopening and getting back out into the job market and really getting back out into the world and being human. So I'm absolutely
Yeah.
thrilled with today's episode. Is there any last minute things you want to throw in before we go ahead and close out for today?
Um, just, a lot of people are going to be going back to work soon.
Hmm.
First of all, the new speed limit is 110. Um,
Aliens are real, people.
seriously, y'all need to move your asses when you come back because I'm used to going 35,
Right.
35 to work every day, and my usual, 12 minutes it takes because of traffic is only, 6.
Woo! Disclaimer in the comments: Lauren goes the proper speed limit and does not speed like a maniac. No, seriously, we
Um,
the road I take, it's all it's like highway and half toll road.
mhm.
So the speed limit is listed at like 75, but if you're going
Oh,
75, you are not going fast
it's
enough.
Oh, so it's like driving on Route 30 when it's 40,
Yes.
but nobody goes 40.
I shit you not. Real quick, I just want to tell you this. The other day, I was going 80 when it was listed clearly as 70. There was a car behind me flashing its lights for me to go faster, and I was like, no. So I get over, and it's a fucking sheriff, and he's going 100.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, okay, I'll get out of the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so new speed limit.
Yeah.
And for you guys working from home when you're coming back,
Yeah.
please, please, please be nice to the people. Excuse me, Bella. No. Sorry. The puppy just decided she wanted to be on the show too.
That's okay.
Um, please be respectful to your coworkers who have been stuck in the office.
Hmm.
I mean, for me, I have to wear a mask all frickin' day, and it's exhausting. You guys have been from working from home. You've been pretty comfortable. We've been in the office. Some people have been actually scared about having to come in and everything.
Hmm.
So your experience during this is not the same as ours. So
Right.
maybe thank your coworkers who have been in the office, because I mean, they're the if you have to be in the office, you know that that job is essential,
Right.
basically. So just be thankful towards your coworkers who had to suffer through being actually there. And for you know, and for the people who are finally going back to work as a whole, like I know a lot of retail businesses are finally going back.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so sorry. Please don't kill each other.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear is that the retails that did, like the retail stores that did close, like they're gonna go
Hmm.
crazy because now that they're opening, people are gonna mob. Like when I was at the mall,
Oh,
we
definitely.
we went on a Sunday, and we went when we got there. It didn't open until 12, so we got there at 11:45. We got there.
Hmm.
We're walking around. We had our kids in strollers, so they were nice and they were taking care of everything.
Hmm.
But as the mall officially started opening, you could slowly see people were coming in, and even businesses that were listed as not open on the website were opening.
Hmm.
Like we went in there fully expecting, like we wanted to go to Build a Bear, and a couple other little shops. But I mean, we
Hmm.
get in there and then like BAM's open, Go Calendars was open, fucking Hot Topic was open. I was like, okay, this is turning into a decent day. And Box Lunch, which is a different kind of. It's like they're owned by Hot Topic, but it's like different. They do not so much like your gothic chic, but more of like your trend and popular items and stuff.
Interesting.
It's an awesome store. I like going in there, and it's actually really cool. For every box, I forget exactly how much it is, but Box Lunch, for every dollar you spend, I'm pretty sure it's like 10 or 15 cents goes to providing lunches for kids, for youth in America.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But anyway, the whole point of that is as they were like, people were opening up for the first time, and people were coming in, and they were just, you could see like deer in the headlights on them. Like they were just like, oh, what the fuck do we do? Like
Yeah,
like it's
like
been so long.
I really do feel bad for retail workers because a lot of like the grocery store workers had to deal with all of this stuff, and now all these retail workers are gonna have to, like the ones that were closed, are gonna have to deal with all these people coming back, and
Yep.
they were cooped up for 2 months, but there's gonna be lines. You're gonna be waiting forever.
Yeah.
Please be patient with especially your cashiers. They get the worst of it from everybody, from out of anybody in the store,
Right.
because everything that goes wrong in the store,
It's their fault.
it's their fault.
Yep.
So please be nice to your cashiers. If they're a little grumpy, just let them go.
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I really appreciate you saying that, because even though my job, we've been essential and we've been open the whole time, again, I have friends who are now going back to work down here. And again, they are going to get the people where, again, it's going to be lines and lines and lines, and people are just going to want to shop, and they're going to want to be out and about, and it is going to be
mhm,
hell. So please, everybody out there, be patient, be kind, understand that, again, it's been rough for everybody. Just try to make it
mhm.
through as best you can.
Yeah, and I mean the restaurants are gonna be busy.
Oh my God, yes.
Don't end up like that woman at Red Lobster here in good old Yoko.
I can't believe that. When I saw that, like she was fighting because she had to wait for her goddamn biscuits. Like, are you fucking serious? Go the fuck home.
So I read more about it.
Okay.
She had ordered her food online to have it delivered
Okay.
and waited an hour or so and it still hadn't shown up, and she called to see where it was and nobody was picking up. So she went to the restaurant to get a refund.
Gotcha.
And that's where all of it started. And she blamed, of course, them having bad customer service for, being busy on Mother's Day.
Right. Because who
So
the fuck?
obviously,
Right.
yeah, obviously your response to bad customer service is to be violent with the employees. Yeah.
No. Everybody
So
listening,
she's
don't do
being
that.
charged.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Over. Whatever. But anyway, everybody
Yeah.
out there listening, I really appreciate again your patience for me getting this next episode up. I appreciate your patronage. We not only hit the 50 subscriber mark, but now we're up to like 62 or 63, which is fantastic. So keep it up, keep spreading the word. Again, everybody out there, if you know anybody who's listening, who likes it, who wants to come on, even first time people or returning, come on the show. We'll have fun. We'll talk. We'll rant and we'll rave and we'll have a great time. So, Lauren, once again, thank you for coming on, and we will talk to everybody out there later. Please like and subscribe.